Hey guys, so today we're going to be factorizing using quadratics that involve trinomials. Previously we factorized using highest common factor and grouping in pairs. So today we're going to be dealing with factorizing trinomials and quadratics. Let's start with what a trinomial looks like. Trinomial means an expression that has three terms. So here we have x squared plus 4x plus 3. We can also call this a quadratic. It's a type of quadratic equation that we use for other purposes later. Now there's a few steps in solving a trinomial quadratic equation. The first step is to write times plus times on top of the expression. The first expression will be times, the middle expression will be plus, and the last expression will be times. Now our goal here is to find two numbers that multiply to give us the last term, which is 3, and add to give us the middle number, which is 4. So we have to find two numbers that multiply to give us 3 and add to give us 4. So the first thing I do is I write all of the multiples of the last number down. And the only multiple of the last number is 1 times 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So our two numbers are 1 and 3. So our first step was to write times plus times. Then it was to find the two numbers that multiply to give the last and add to give the middle. And then we separate the middle term into these two numbers. So x squared comes down, x squared. 3 comes down. And then the middle term is split into those two numbers. Plus 3x. Sorry, we had 1 plus 1x, which is x, plus 3x. Now, in the middle, this term here, x plus 3x, is the same as 4x. So it's not like we've changed anything. We've just split it into two different terms. Now that we have that, we can then group in pairs. We factorize the first two, and we factorize the last two. Factorizing the first two, x squared and x, the highest common factor is x, and then I need another x plus 1. In the last one, the highest common factor is 3. I need another x plus 1. As you can see here, you have x plus 1, which means we can write it as the highest common factor outside. And the next one, I have x and 3, so I'll put them in the next bracket. Now look at this very carefully. Our end answer was x plus 1 and x plus 3, right? And the two numbers that we found were 1 and 3. Do you see a pattern here? When we have a quadratic, a simple quadratic, such as x squared plus something, our answer can be x plus the first number we found and x plus the next number we found. However, do all your working out as such, and you'll soon get in the habit of doing it the quick way. Let's do another example. Here we have y squared plus 9y minus 10. Step number 1, times plus times. I need to find a number that multiplies to give me negative 10 and adds to give me 9. Let's write all the multiples of 10 down first. I have 1 times 10, 2 times 5, and that's it. So 1 plus 10 is 11, and 2 plus 5 is 7. But let's look at something very interesting here. We have a multiplication of a negative 10. You'll see here the negative there. So one of these numbers has to be a negative. So let's try both of them. Either we have minus 1 times 10, or we have 1 times negative 10, or we have negative 2 times 5, or we have 2 times negative 5. All four of these, when multiplied, will give me an answer of minus 10. But let's see which one adds up to give me 9. So minus 1 plus 10 is 9. So my two numbers are there, minus 1 and 10. My two numbers are minus 1 and 10. They're the two numbers I'm going to use to split the middle. So let's split the middle. Y squared comes down. Y squared. The middle terms are now minus 1x or minus x. I'm going to write 1 there so you can see what's happening. And plus 10, not x, we're using y, sorry. Minus 1y plus 10y minus 10. Now we can group in pairs, so let's group the first two. The first two, y squared minus y, the highest common factor is y. I need another y minus 1. Then 10 and minus 10, the highest common factor is 10. I need another y minus 1. Here, you can see that, let's use another color. You can see that y minus 1 is the same, so I can write it once. Y minus 1 and y plus 10. You'll see here, again, my answer is minus 1 and 10, my two numbers that I found here. So again, we can simply go from y squared plus 9y minus 10, find the two numbers, and then put them straight. We can go straight from here, straight into there once we find the two numbers. Let me show you what I mean. Let's do these three examples. A squared minus 4a plus 4. Times, plus, times. Times to give me 4. Add to give me negative 4. I can write all my multiples of 4. 1 times 4. 2 times 2. Now I know that none of these are going to add to give me negative 4. However, we know that a negative multiplied by a negative gives us a positive. So could it be minus 2, minus 2? Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. Minus 2 plus minus 2, which is the same as minus 2, does give me negative 4. So my two numbers are minus 2 and minus 2. They're my two numbers that I'm using. Now remember, before I said you can go through the whole process and show all you're working out, or you can go straight to A and another bracket A. What's the first number? Minus 2. What's the next number? Another minus 2. We can write it like that. That's the same as a minus 2 squared as well, if you want to write it like that. Let's do the next question. Next question is again times plus times. Two numbers that multiply to give me negative 32 and add to give me 14. First and foremost, let's write all the multiples of 32. 1 times 32. 2 times 16. 4 times 8. And that's it at this stage. So let's have a look at which of these numbers are going to add to give me 14. But before I go there, I can see that I have to multiply to give a negative. You'll see the negative there, which means one of these numbers has to be a negative in order for it to be there. So I'm going to use trial and error here and say, okay, let's make the 1 a negative. Negative 1 plus 32 is 31. No, what about 1 minus 32? No, we're going into negatives. 2 minus 2 plus 16. Minus 2 plus 16 is 14. So the two numbers that we're going to use are minus 2 and 16. So we have x minus 2 plus 16. Now, if you did it the long way, you get the same answer. So this is just a trick to show you the shorter way of using it. All right, again, next one, times plus times. What number multiplies to give me negative 5 and adds to give me negative 4? I'm telling you right now, your two numbers are your two numbers are negative 5 and plus 1. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5, and negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. So here, first letter, and then the first number, minus 5 plus 1. That's your answer. Now I want you to try the next few. Pause the video and try it yourself. Okay, you should be finished by now, so let's go through it. Alright, so we have times plus times. Which number multiplies to give us 10 and adds to give me negative 7? Now here I know both of the numbers have to be a negative. Why do both of them have to be a negative? Because a negative times a negative will give me that positive there, and a negative minus a negative will give me that negative there. So I know both the numbers have to be a negative. Two numbers that come to mind that will do that is 5 and 2. Negative 5, negative 2. X minus 5, x minus 2. Now, it doesn't matter if you write x minus 2 and then x minus 5, or you write x minus 5, x minus 2. It's the same thing because we are going to FOIL and multiply both of them to go back. All right, next question. Times plus times. What number multiplies to give me negative 24 and adds to give me negative 5? Now, here I know that in order for me to have two numbers to multiply to give me a negative 24, one of those numbers has to be a negative. So which two numbers are going to multiply to give me negative 24 and add to give me minus 5? Let's go through. 1 and 24. No, what's another multiple of 24? 2 and 12. No, not enough gap. What's another multiple of 24? You have 4 and 6. So what if we did 6 minus 4? No, 4 minus 6. Can't do that either. You have 8 and 3. Yep, 8 times 3 is 24 as well. So one of them has to be a negative. What if I did 3 minus 8? 3 minus 8 is negative 5. What about the opposite? 8 minus 3. No, we're still in the positive. So it is 3 minus 8. Our two numbers are 3 and minus 8. Now again, we just put these in the brackets here. X, first number is 3, and the next number is negative 8. Let's go to the last question here. Last question again, times plus times. Two numbers that add to give me 9, multiply to give me 9 and add to give me negative 6. I'm going to tell you right now the numbers are negative 3 and negative 3. X minus 3, X minus 3. Hopefully that helped you. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Watch the next video about trinomial quadratics when we have a number in front of the x squared. Right now, the coefficient or number in front of x squared is 1. What happens when you have a number in front of the first value?